Yo, what is up, y'all? My name is Rob Donaldson, and welcome back to another edition of Rob's Best Bets. And once again, we are talking about college hoops, and it's been a rough start to the week. 3 straight losing nights, and you know, it's not like we're getting these terrible nights. We've been going about 3-4, 2-3, and kind of along those lines, but certainly not how we want to start off the front end of the week. At the same time, one good day honestly erases all of the deficit that we've already kind of dug ourselves so far, and over the past month we have been rolling, so ultimately not too worried. But at the same time, let's flip this thing into the green, man. Let's go ahead and have a good day here on Wednesday. And we do have a fun slate. We have some conference tournament action, we have some futures at play as well, and I really do think that Wednesday is going to be a really nice turning point here for us. But with all that being said, before we hop into the picks, I do have to take a second to shout out today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. And if you haven't already signed up over there using promo code ROBDFB, make sure you go and do so, because we have been red hot with our underdog plays. We missed out yesterday, but we have been still hitting these 6-to-1 pairs at a pretty high rate. And if you do want to take part in those, make sure you are following me over on Twitter/X at RobDFB. That way you can kind of keep up with everything that we're doing in terms of the underdog bet slips. But with all that being said, y'all, I am ready to hop into these Wednesday picks. All right, first up, we are heading out to the Sun Belt Conference Tournament, where we have Georgia Southern, our future, taking on Southern Miss. And this is kind of that gauntlet style of bracket. So Southern Miss actually played Coastal Carolina yesterday, and it was a dogfight. It was definitely a game where it was going back and forth. Really could have been anybody's game at the end there, and Southern Miss emerged. And when you're looking at Southern Miss, they've had a tumultuous season, a really down year for the program, and against Georgia Southern, a team that is really fresh coming into this game with really good guard play and just honestly a lot of talent overall in their starting 5, I do think that Georgia Southern is going to have enough to cover this number of 3.5. So let's go ahead and lay the number with the Eagles for 2 units for our first bet here on Wednesday. For pick number 2, we are heading out to the OVC Conference Tournament, where we have UT Martin taking on Tennessee Tech. And Tennessee Tech, if they can get out of this game, I think have a viable chance to, pull an upset or even 2 upsets on the top side of this bracket. But at the same time, this is a tough matchup for them to get out of here. And when you're looking at UT Martin, I do think they have the makings to also kind of spring an upset or 2. It's a very tough draw from this seed line, but I think we're going to have a good game. At the same time, I think UT Martin is just a much better team. We're getting a pick'em price, I think, partially because of the seed line, because of the regular season performances, and for that reason, I definitely see some value here. So let's go ahead and take UT Martin on the money line for 2 units for our second bet here on Wednesday. For pick number 3, we are heading out to the A10, where we have a game between Rhode Island and St. Joe's. And Rhode Island has had a pretty good season, but St. Joe's on the other side has been absolutely on fire as of late. This is a team that we are 100% going to be backing in the A10 Conference Tournament, because as I've said in past videos, in terms of the actual raw talent on the roster, I think St. Joe's might actually have the most of it in the A10 Conference, and I do think they're held back a little bit by Billy Lang at the helm, but at the same time, I am totally fine with how they've been playing down the stretch here, and for that reason, I say we go ahead and lay this lofty number of 10.5 with the Hawks for 2 units for our third bet here on Wednesday. For pick number 4, we're going to go ahead and stay in the A10, where we have George Washington taking on Fordham, and Fordham has been one of those teams that has kind of lived at the bottom of the A10 the past couple of years, but when you are looking at this program right now and kind of what they've done as of late, they have been scrappy against the top of this conference. I mean, the last 3 games have been against Davidson, George Mason, and St. Joe's, and throughout the duration of those games, I felt like Fordham had a chance to win those games outright before just one scoring run kind of took them out of it. And that's Fordham's MO. You know, scrap it up, muck it up, really rely on the defensive side of the ball. And in this game, we have seen George Washington struggle to make shots on the road. And in particular with Fordham playing on senior day with a veteran-heavy lineup, I do think they get up and win this game outright. But hey, they're getting 3.5 points, more than a possession. I say we take all the points we can get with this team for 3 units for our 4th bet here on Wednesday. For pick number 5, we're heading on down to Oxford, Mississippi, where we have Tennessee taking on Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is one of those teams that have kind of had a roller coaster of a season because they started off really hot, then they kind of tapered off for a little bit, and then they've just been kind of teetering along the lines of, you know, are they a top 20 team? Are they at the bottom more so like a top 40 team? They're firmly in the tournament, so there's no real worry there. But at the same time, a marquee win would do wonders for their seed line. And they have Tennessee right here on a platter. Tennessee has struggled at times on the road this season. And once again, with Ole Miss, Chris Beard, this kind of balanced style of ball, I do like backing that at home in a big-time spot. We did it with Texas A&M against Auburn last night to a lot of success, and I think we see it again here, maybe just at a lesser capacity. So let's go ahead and take Ole Miss, getting the 3.5 points here for 4 units for our 5th bet here on Wednesday. All right, for our final bet here on Wednesday, we have a game between Notre Dame and Stanford. And when you're looking at this game here, something that does stand out in terms of just Notre Dame's trajectory the rest of the regular season is they do have back-to-back home games lined up in this spot. And I do think that means a lot for a team and for a coach in Micah Shrewsbury that do want to have a kind of a nice end or end their season on a high note. And when you see this line coming out at just +1, right for Notre Dame, with a Stanford team that has 19 wins on the season and a pretty glossy looking record for this conference, I do think it's a pretty indicative line. And for that reason, I'm willing to jump in with Notre Dame, even despite my head saying that they are not that good of a team. So let's go ahead and take the 1 point here with the Fighting Irish for 3 units for our final bet here on Wednesday. All that being said, I really want to thank you guys for checking out today's video, and if you haven't already hopped on our futures for these conference tournaments, make sure you go and do so. We won't have futures for every single conference, notably the WCC, the Patriot League, and the NEC, but at the same time, we're going to have a lot of conference futures pending here that we're going to have a really good shot at leveraging. Starting on Thursday, we have a semifinal matchup with 2 of our futures in the same game, and tomorrow expect a Missouri Valley Conference Future Edition. Really excited about that one. Really excited about that conference tournament. Arch Madness is always fire. But with all that being said, y'all, if you want to show some love, make sure you drop a like on the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you comment down below. But with all that being said, I will see you in a future video. Take it easy.